I always want to go with the most talked about topic at the start of each week, because I feel like that's going to get our, our voices warmed up and really talking. I feel like the Twitch adding another option for why you chose to cancel a subscription. So let's go through actually what the news is. So Twitch have added an option to refund a subscription after you've chosen to subscribe to somebody. And if you do that within 10 minutes, then you can get a refund. And that has always existed, or it's at least existed for the past year. But what they've added is a new option there as to why you're choosing to refund the subscription. And that can be that you just wanted a shout out. So the option literally says, I just wanted a shout out and now I want a refund for my subscription. So, rightfully so, this has caused a lot of outrage on Twitter. People think that this is Twitch giving trolls the ability to subscribe to somebody and then get a refund within 10 minutes, and their shout out of the subscription still goes up on the stream, and it's going to be awful for streamers and things like that. But I do want to clarify that this has existed for a long time. It's really just Twitch adding the option to be able to then collect the data on how many people are doing this, and maybe then restricting those accounts. So let's dive into this a little bit. What did you think when you first saw this, Ben?
Yeah, this to me is super interesting because I don't know, the fact, like you said, this has always been a possibility apparently on Twitch. I'm sure they get tons of tickets like this from people who say, either from kids who use their mom's cards or something, or situations that didn't mean to do something, and there was a subscription that didn't mean to put through. But I think adding a specific reason on the refund for refunding because you only wanted to shout out is very strange, because I think that's a reason that a lot of people do this. And so the thought now is, of course, people will start doing this and then cancel it right away because they just want the shout out. I think there's a fair chunk of people who do this, especially on bigger streams, just because they want their name on there or some shout out. So adding it as a valid reason to cancel your subscription could lead to a lot of people doing this and then immediately canceling it. And so it's kind of like the whole situation with refunding donations and that sort of thing, where that might happen a lot and that could be a problem. And I haven't seen people have this happen yet, because I just found this scrolling through Twitter, but it seems like that's the main concern from streamers. And I totally get that if that were to start happening. I do get the other side too, for where you're saying this has already been a thing people could do in terms of refunding by emailing Twitch and going through the support method. But I think it's just easier to do this now. And so the thought is that it'll happen more in that case. So I'm not a huge fan of adding it on there. Maybe this should more education around, by subscribing, you can't refund, and make sure you know what you're doing before you click subscribe kind of thing. Because this, especially for kids, I think, who see this as an option, could be a big reason to have a lot of refunds. So not super impressed at first, but I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I've actually tested this morning. So I messaged a friend before doing it, obviously. Didn't want to actually harm their stream, but then subscribed or resubscribed to their channel, and then immediately went through the refund options and clicked this option. And what was quite interesting for me is I still had access to emotes for the rest of my test. I only tested for 15 minutes before I wrote it in. I'm not sure if that's a bug or if that is literally what's happening, because then if you do still have access to emotes and it still looks like you're a subscriber to them on Twitch, then people are going to abuse this. Let me tell you that right now.
Oh, no.
So I'm hoping that is a bug and Twitch will fix that. Like you said, I think people are probably blowing this a little bit out of proportion. I don't think it's going to be as bad as people are making out, but there certainly will be a group of users who look to abuse this. And from Twitch's point of view, they're going to be able to then gather that data. So they're going to be able to see the accounts that are abusing this and then maybe stop them from subscribing to channels, because they know that they're just going to try and refund it in a few minutes. Then people will say, well, you could just make a new Twitch account, but I would imagine it has to be linked. Well, it does have to be linked to a payment account for you to be able to subscribe. So then people are saying, oh, you could make a new PayPal. But then you're getting to the point where that's quite a lot of effort just to subscribe and unsubscribe to somebody. And it's not the same as when you donate to somebody through PayPal and then do a chargeback request where the fee will then have to be paid by the streamer. That really is a negative impact for streamers. This, you're not seeing the money, right? So Twitch will eventually pay you your payout at the end of the month, but it's not like you're having to incur any fee as a streamer for this. It's just quite annoying if people are abusing it, especially if you're giving people shout outs on stream, like so many people do when they subscribe. Thanks for the subscription, reading out their name, reading out their message, only for them to then, cancel that subscription and get their money back because it was all within 10 minutes. So yeah, it's really interesting. I think one thing I would love to see is if Twitch will try and combat this. If it does get abused, will Twitch try and combat this by delaying the notification that somebody has subscribed to you by 10 minutes, just to prevent people from trolling the system. And obviously they would also have to delay the notification that gets sent out to your alert provider, so Streamlabs or Stream Elements or any of the other services, as to whether or not they have subscribed, because you don't want the subscription coming up on your stream. So obviously you need to delay both what Twitch puts into Twitch chat, but also what Twitch sends, or rather what Streamlabs and Stream Elements request from the API when somebody subscribes to you. So I think that could be a likely option. But really, my point of view is Twitch is trying to gather the data here of how many people are cancelling subscriptions for this reason, because it was already possible, but you probably had to go through a support ticket to do it. Now they can gather that data and hopefully improve the feature, exactly like you said, by maybe giving some more education when you actually click the subscribe button. You know, this is not refundable, those kind of things. They're probably just trying to reduce the number of support tickets that they get for people wanting to cancel subscriptions because they just wanted a shout out, or any other bogus reason of, you know, oh, it was my 6-year-old brother who has access to my credit card or something like that, you know. So I do agree that a lot of fuss has been made about this, and rightly so, and it's good to have a conversation around it. But I think probably the reasons why Twitch have put the option in are eventually going to be beneficial for streamers, because it's all about getting the data and then hopefully improving the feature around that to make sure that it doesn't impact streamers so much.
Yeah, I think there's also the benefit to the Twitch side. I'm guessing this is probably added because it takes a lot of the load off of their support staff to address this kind of thing, instead of working on like server issues or site issues, because this is more of just a, you know, a personal customer service thing. And so this probably makes it a lot easier to take care of that kind of thing if it is happening a lot. So I think that's probably why it's here. But again, I think, like you said, there has to be education for both viewers and streamers. I think viewers, especially, of knowing, like, when you do this, here's what you're signing up for, and you shouldn't really be refunding because people gave you a shout out and you got that. And like you said, it feels really bad if you're the streamer who does the shout out and then they refund because you just wanted a shout out, but you gave it to them, but they're still refunding. So hopefully that doesn't happen too much. And that's why I think there has to be some education on the streamer side too, of like what Twitch is going to do to make sure this doesn't get abused, and that there's some sort of protocols in place so that there's protection for the streamer. Like you said, you're not taking that fee as a streamer the same way you are with a PayPal type of thing, but it still can make you kind of skeptical. Like as a streamer right now, if you get a big donation, I think because of all the horror stories of chargebacks and things, everyone's kind of scared if you get some big donation of, is that real? Like, is it going to get refunded? If it refunded, am I getting this big fee? So it could be a similar thing if this gets abused, where you get a subscription or like, I don't know, 20 gifted subscriptions and they all get refunded or something. So you're kind of skeptical as to whether that's going to stick. Hopefully that won't be the case and Twitch will get ahead of that, but I could see where that would be a potential cause of worry in the future. So
yeah, one last point I'd like to make on this is it would be really useful, I think, if Twitch allowed streamers to access this data along with the data of why people stop subscribing to your stream. So if somebody's like a traditional subscriber and then they choose after 6 months to stop supporting your stream, they get a few options, like a kind of like a very, very small survey from Twitch as to like, why are you canceling your subscription? You know, you're not interested in the streamer anymore, or, you know, is it too expensive? I can't actually remember what the options are, but they do collect, a set of responses as to why someone stopped supporting you. It would be really useful if the streamer could see those responses. They don't need to be linked to a certain account, but it would be useful to be able to see, oh, people don't like that I am now, I don't know, playing a new game, or whatever some of the options are. Because I remember back on my days on Patreon, when I first went full-time with this YouTube channel, you could see that. So when people stopped supporting you on Patreon, they could choose a few options, or they could write a little comment as to why they're stopping to support you. And it was really useful as the creator to be able to see, oh, it's because I'm not uploading enough content, or because the content no longer felt relevant, or, you know, maybe it was just a financial thing and you know, no hard feelings at all. So I would love to see Twitch allow the streamers to get some kind of level to the access to this level of data, because that would hopefully help them improve their streams. Not to the point where you can identify who has unsubbed and what the reason was, so you can go and harass them. Oh, why are you supporting someone else? No, just purely so that you can help improve your stream.